A very good morning to you all. I am Dr. N. Rajashree, Assistant Professor of Economics, Pingle Government College for Women, Vadapalli, Warangal. In today's class, you are going to learn about the agricultural pricing policy in India. Okay? So in this, what are the objectives? You are going to learn, that is about the main objectives of the policy, then what are the features of the pricing policy, shortcomings of agriculture pricing policy, and what are the suggestions for improving the agriculture pricing policy. Okay, fine. So we see the introduction part. Before understanding why the agriculture policy is needed, that you should know, you should have an idea about that, because the prices are determined both on demand and the supply side, the forces that is on demand and the supply. So if you have an idea about, if you want to cut a paper, so we need a scissor. Okay, both the blades plays a very important role there to cut a paper. Okay, so here in the same manner, if you see, to determine the price in the market, both they'll see the demand and also the supply. So if there is more supply, what happens? The price of a particular commodity decreases, and the supply is less. So the prices of a particular commodity may increase. So try to remember here the forces on demand and also on other side supply determine the prices of a particular commodity. Got it? So here, if you see the pricing policy through the state intervention in the market mechanism can ensure a fair deal to the producer at the times of distress sales and to the consumers at the time of rising prices. So a policy implementation the state has to undertake, whether to increase or decrease and everything, the market mechanism only plays an important role. Okay, so here to get a fair price for the farmers. So in order to ensure a better price for the products, the government has to implement a pricing policy so that the farmers they'll get some benefits. So in India, the agriculture price policies and the allied instruments were evolved in the pre-independence era. The procurement and the distribution of major food grains were started and statutory maximum prices were fixed, but were not strictly enforced. You got it? Before the independence. And what happened in the post-independence era? The objective of achieving food security was linked with the environment sustainability. So the main objective of the government's price policy for agro produce is to set a remunerative price, okay, with a view to encourage higher investment and also the production. So if better remunerative prices are provided by the government, it's sort of an, what is that? They'll make some investments more. So they'll have that, okay, we'll get an, for their production, they'll get good income. Okay. So if remunerative prices are not fixed by the government, then the farmers, they have to suffer. Because though they are producing also, if they are not getting better prices for their production, naturally for the reinvestment is very difficult for them to manage. Okay, so the demand for the food grains, particularly the rice and the wheat, we can see on the increase from year to year as a result of growing population and also the rising incomes. So if you see the day by day, the population growth is increasing. So for that, in the same manner, what the farmers have to do? The farmers, they have to increase the food grain production. So if they increase the food grain production only, it will be, we can consume the commodities, the goods. Okay, so thus a trend has developed towards increased level of consumption as well as substitution of the grains like maize and the jowar by wheat and also the rice. So here consequently we can see that the shortages, even a marginal nature used to persist, and there was a steady upward trend in price levels to bring the demand and also the supply into balance. So try to remember the Agriculture Price Commission they have set up in January 1965, okay, to advise the government on the price policy of major agricultural commodities. So it kept that a view to evolving a balanced and integrated price structure in the perspective of the overall needs of the economy. That commission has been established. They have started this since March 1985. That is CACP. That is nothing but Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices. So try to remember why the price policy is needed for the farmers. So who has to undertake that pricing policy? The government has to take the steps. So if the government decides the prices now, naturally the farmers, they'll be benefited for whatever they are producing. And the next we see the objectives of the pricing policy. It varies from country to country, depending upon the place of the agriculture and national income, national economy. Okay. So what are the objectives? Specifically, it varies, it changes. How it changes? Generally, if you see in developed countries, that is the major objective of the price policy is to prevent the fall in agricultural income. Okay, that is in developed countries it is. While in developing economies, it is to increase agriculture production only. So basically you can see the difference in developed countries, what is that? Whereas in developing economies, how the production, agriculture production is taking place. So try to remember that pricing policy, it varies from country to country, and when it increases in other, it decreases in developed and developing. How it changes. So first we can see that to meet the domestic consumption requirements, that is a main objective, because the consumers, they have to consume the products, whatever the farmers are producing. And to provide the price stability in agricultural product, there must be stable prices. And to ensure reasonable relationship between the prices of agricultural commodities and also the manufactured goods. So they have to maintain this. Then only we can ensure the better prices for the farmers. And to make available food to the consumers at the time of shortage. Then to increase the production and also the exports of agriculture products. When it is possible to export the products to other countries, when an economy produces more commodities, okay, with good quality, they'll see the quality also. If it is good quality, what they'll do? There is a chance to export the commodities to other countries. Okay, so here that is a main, you can remember the objective, to increase the production and also export of products to other countries. We are exporting the commodities, say the cotton and mirchi and all the commodities, some food grains we are exporting to other countries because our quality is very good. If you take the example of cotton only, the Japan people, what we are doing, we are exporting the product to Japan. And in turn, what the Japan is doing, they are using our product only, the cotton, and they are making, what is that, cloths, okay? They are manufacturing and they are sending back to our country only. So with that, when they are sending to our economy the products, at what rates they are sending? At enormous rate, high rates they are sending to our cotton only they have taken, we are exported. And finally, they are importing the products, whatever they have manufactured. At what rates? At high rates. And why this is taking place? Because our cotton only, if we have the technological tools and machinery things are there in our economy itself, then we can manage, we can produce the commodities within our economy. No need of depending on other economies. Got it? So self-sufficiency is very important. So try to remember, when we want to export the commodities, if the quality is good, then only it is a chance to export the commodities to other countries. Got an idea? And also to provide the raw materials to the industries at reasonable prices. You can take the example of sugarcane in agriculture sector. What we are doing? We are sending to sugar industry the raw material, sugarcane. Then finally what the industry is doing? Sugar, the product sugar and the waste materials, the molasses and the bagasse, we are using the byproducts to other sector, that is paper. We are using the waste products to manufacture the other paper and other things. We are using it. So try to remember that is nothing but a price policy is very important. So here the main object of this price policy is what? It provides the raw materials also to the industries at reasonable prices and make available the food to the consumers to increase the production and also the exports of the products to provide the raw materials to the industries at reasonable prices. And the next you can see what are the shortcomings of agricultural price policy. Okay, we have seen the objectives. Got it? To prevent the exploitation of the farmers from zemindars and other intermediaries also you can take, who may purchase the products at very low price in the absence of price policy. If the price policy is not set up now, naturally the zemindars and the intermediaries, what they are doing? They are taking high rates from the farmers. The policy is set up by the government now. Naturally what these people will do, they'll send to the government itself purchases. Okay, so the next you can see the shortcomings of this, and before that you can see the features. What are the features of agricultural price policy? Some institutions we have, that is Agriculture Price Commission, they have set up at in the year 1965. Okay, and the Food Corporation of India is also, they have set up in 1985. So these two you can remember the institutions where they have set up. The commission advises the government regarding the price policy and also determines the minimum support prices and also the procurement prices for the products. Okay, in this the APC 1965 you have to remember, and the Food Corporation 1985. So here in this Food Corporation of India, Charlapalli we have this Food Corporation of India. They are set up in 85. The organizer that is the prices, whatever the government determines now, this corporation, the government, they'll take the products from the farmers and through whatever they'll purchase from the farmers now, they'll send the product through, that is to public distribution. That is nothing but the fair price shops. Okay, bulk products, the corporation itself, the government, they'll purchase and they'll keep in the buffer stocks. So here the government only determines the minimum support prices for the wheat, rice, maize, and every year the recommendations of Commission for Agricultural Cost and the prices now for the major products fixed by the government itself undertakes at what price and everything they have to undertake it. The maximum price fixation is also there, and whatever the product goods they purchase from the farmers now, they'll store in buffer stocks. Okay, that you have to remember. So this is the maximum price fixation, the government only determines, that you have to remember. And next you can see the shortcomings, that is a limited coverage. Prices of only the agricultural commodities are fixed by the government. Inadequate coverage of procurement facility rendered the price ineffective. The limited coverage will be there, only just be fixed by the government itself. And the less remunerative prices will be there. The policy has failed to provide the remunerative prices for the agro products, because the price fixed under this was remunerative only in rice. Further, the remunerative prices and the subsidized inputs have failed to keep pace with the rate of the increase in the cost, and failed to achieve price stability. This is also a failure in this. You can remember in the year in 2008 and 9, the price index went up to 9.46%, and thus affecting the poorer sections of the society. Then this is also a failure to achieve the price stability. Then ineffective PDS. Strong PDS is required for providing food grains to poorer sections, but in India, sufficient quantity it is not being provided. A large section of the people are outside the purview of the system. Even though who are covered under this system do not necessarily get the benefit of issue prices. So automatically you can remember the system has absolutely failed to serve the objective. Okay. Then the less number of regulated markets. So here you can see more number of regulated markets are required, but in India we have very less. Why a regulated market is fixed? Why? Because they'll fix in this. In 1952, they started this regulated markets in order to provide benefits to the farmers. Then unaccompanied by effective policy also. That is nothing but the efficiency of the price policy, whatever it is, the price policy, it depends upon the number of other factors which are inherent in the system of the agricultural operations, like land holding, patterns, income distribution, regional disparities, and the cropping pattern. These are accompanied with that. But it is pity to say that the price policy has not been accompanied by effective policy for the development of agriculture sector. So try to remember these are the main features. You can remember the institutions are there, Agriculture Price Commission is there, Food Corporation of India is there, and the fixation of minimum support prices and the procurement prices are there. Then maximum price fixation, the buffer stock, these are the features. A support price must be provided before the crop only. After the crop and before the crop, if the fixation is then naturally they'll not have any worry because they'll get a price for the product. They'll have that they'll have the security. Why? Because if there is any failure also, it is better for the people that they'll have the okay, they can have that will get some amount. So try to remember that. And the shortcomings, that is limited coverage is there, the less remunerative prices, and fail to achieve the price stability. Ineffective PDS system, less number of regulated markets, and unaccompanied by effective policy. And the next we can say that something about the suggestions. What are the suggestions we can undertake for improving the agricultural price policy? We have seen the features, we have seen the shortcomings, and then what the suggestions what the government has to undertake for improving the price policy. This is very important because we have seen the price policy, if they have not implemented in 1965, now here failure will be there because the farmers, they have to suffer. Now in this pandemic situation also, the government gave that, what is that, for only for some crops they are giving the importance, they'll purchase. In other crops they're not showing the interest. Naturally, who are the sufferers? The farmers are there. So yes, but for that can remember some suggestions that is the government has to provide. Extension of the price policy, the first one. This is viewed as a form of the market intervention, and the price policy should be extended to include all the agricultural commodities. For only some the government is saying, but it is not possible for the farmers to survive because they are putting the efforts. Without the farmers, we could not have nicely we are sitting and eating, we are consuming the food. But who are the sufferer here? The farmers are the sufferers. They are putting the efforts. If they are not getting the better prices for the products, they will be the sufferers. Okay. So try to remember, extension of a price policy must be there, and establishment of more agencies. They have to establish more agencies than Apart from FCI, even the government has to set up some cotton corporation or the jute corporation and other agency for perishable agricultural commodities. Only just the food corporation of India is purchasing, but not that like that. For other crops also, some corporations must be there because people they are producing, okay, they are putting their hard work. So accordingly, they must get. The cotton corporation must be there or the jute corporation must be there, and another agency they must keep for perishable agricultural commodities. Then you can see the proper fixation of prices. The prices should be remunerative to the farmers. So during the last 3-4 years back, MITU rate has enormously, it has been fallen. Then the people, they suffered a lot. Got it? So here the proper fixation must be there for the farmers to implement in PDS also, in the public distribution system also. If they are not providing good quality, the people they have to suffer, and also whatever the requirement for the basic necessity, whatever the rice or the dal or the other what is that, flour and other things, these are the basic necessary things, necessary commodities we required. So these must be provided to the common people, the poor people. Okay, necessary commodities should be constantly available in adequate quantities at fair price shops only. The necessaries must be provided. Not only giving rice is not enough for the poor people. Okay, and other operations also should be made more efficient and also transparent. Then only they can survive on this earth. Then next you see the improvement in productivity also. With suitable prices, where in the years of the gluts and the uptake of excess stocks should be resorted by the government, ensuring favorable prices for the agriculturists. Some improvement must be there with suitable prices. Then only it is possible. Okay. Then improvement in agricultural marketing by regulating the activities of brokers and other intermediaries. So this is very important because the poor farmers, what they are doing, they are producing the commodities. Because marketing system is what? Marketing is some stages will be there: assembling, grading, sampling, processing and transportation. Those stages plays a very important role in this. So if one stage is lagged, then entire the produce will be failed. Because like if a farmer wants to sell the commodity, he'll come to the market, he will show the samples. Okay, so if the sample quality is not good, then what happens? His entire process will not be sold. So for that, the grading process is very important in this. The quality wise, what they have to do? They have to separate according to the quality. So if the separation process is there, if according to the quality wise, if they sort out, then the farmers, they'll get a better price for the products. So marketing, proper transport system must be there. That is also important. If during rainy season, the kacha roads will be there. It's very difficult to bring the product to market. Then it's a problem. Naturally, if you see the perishable commodities, we cannot store the commodities. So it will spoil. So for that purpose, the government has to undertake the steps. The government only has to play the important role. The poor people, they are the sufferers if the government is not providing. Some improvements, some establishments must be there. Proper go-down facilities must be provided for storage of commodities. If buffer stock facilities are not provided, what the people they are doing, as soon as the product is, they are getting the production, soon after the harvesting is over, what the people are doing? They are selling the produce at very low prices. So if they are selling at very low prices, it's a loss for the people. If they store in buffer stocks, now after 6 months, you can see the price will be price increases. Why the prices have increased? Because of storage only. So if those storage facilities are there, if they are provided by the government, then they'll get a better price. So those facilities must be provided. Okay, those facilities must be provided. Who has to provide that? The government has to provide. And the proper fixation of prices will. These remunerative and procurement prices must be fixed. Before the crop only they have to fix. Then the farmers, they can make some improvement and also they can increase their production. So try to remember the things, why a policy is needed in developed economies and also in underdeveloped economies or developing economy. A change is there in price policy. It is not same. In developed it's different and in developing it is different. Then features, what are the features of this? What are the shortcomings? And what are the suggestions you have to remember? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.